Deakin University is one of the largest university in Australia. It's reasonably young. It started only in 1974, but now we have about 66,000 students across 4 different campuses, and also a mixture of various cohort of students and different age group and so forth as well. Thank you. The next slide, thank you. As I said, the Deakin University is established in 1974, the first regional university out of the major cities like Melbourne and Sydney. This originated in a city called Geelong, about a 1 hour train travel or drive from Melbourne. One of the focus area is also to distance education, because people outside the major city area didn't have any access to higher education. So one of the reasons the university started in a regional center is to develop the regional area of Australia, but also to provide opportunity for education in the form of social justice and social amenity and opportunity. And the distance education program in those days attracted non-traditional students and very often mature age female who wouldn't have the opportunity to access the university, give away their jobs and so forth as well. And the other aspect is also in the current environment, I'm talking about pre-COVID, the future workforce is moving into a direction where the students will move in and out of the education and the workforce. So the focus is how do we prepare them as a lifelong learners is one of the key aspects of the university as well. Next, thank you. So where we now is we have about 66,000 students. Out of the 66,000 students, 20,000 students are studying online. This is pre-COVID. When the COVID hit, overnight, we transformed all 66,000 students into online delivery, online learning environment. So we have 4 major campuses. We have a major campus in Melbourne with about 32,000 students, and then we have regional campuses as well. So the university is very much part of the regional community and also the economic growth, employment, everything else as well. And let's go next one, thanks. What is going to give you some background of where we came from. Next one. Before in 1980s, sorry, one backward. Yeah, before 1980s, we had study centers, the tutors traveled to various regions, meet with the distance education students, have discussions and tutorial and all of that. In 1980s and 1990s, we saw the first computer-based tutorial system came in 1991. We produce videos and audio recording and the printed material and so forth as well. Next one, thank you. So I was going to take you through some of the challenges and opportunities we had with introducing engineering program as a on-campus as well as the online program in 1991. We started with that, focusing on opportunity for school leavers as well as students who are working in the industry, people who are working in the industry, as well as people who don't have the access to university, and bring them on board into engineering education. And initially we were very careful, but what we have seen over a period of time now, particularly the online students who are people who are working in the industry, bring a lot of practical knowledge into the classrooms as well. So next slide. So when we design the curriculum, we design the curriculum in such a way it's suited to what we call it as a modular-based curriculum. Rather than a weekly-based lectures, we have 3 or 4 modules on each of the units so that people who can finish certain part, then they have an assessment task and then move on to the next one. And now in a post-COVID environment, we are talking about micro credentials. And this one, we did it in 1990s and 1995 to 93. So we had printed material, we had audio, video, and then the late 90s, we got into the computer-aided mediated communication, web-based bulletin boards, discussion forums, and internet aspect as well. Next one, thanks. So gives you broad outline online. The key aspect is we don't differentiate the program the students study online and the on-campus. So professional accreditation of the engineering program is exactly the same. So therefore, we have to demonstrate every single student come through different pathway have had similar learning experience. So it's a very critical issue for us to make sure the curriculum and the delivery is done very effectively as well. As a teacher, I don't see any difference between an on-campus student and a cloud student. We all mix and match, and we bring into group discussions through the online forum as well. So we moved from a web-based delivery into cloud material, Blackboard. I think the student mentioned about Blackboard. Now we work on Desire to Learn. It's a custom-made program for Deakin. All our lectures are recorded. All of the materials are available online. The student, both on-campus students as well as online students, can access anytime. The assessments are designed in such a way the students are very well knew what is expected. All the assessments are submitted through online, regardless whether you are an online on-campus student or an online student. One of the good things about it that we can go back and look at our online system to understand how engaging the students are participating in the accessing information and accessing discussion forums and so forth as well. As a teaching staff, we can monitor and facilitate the discussion. And very often it's like running a classroom. We don't answer the question all the time. We allow the students to come up with the answer, and then we go back and provide input into the discussion. So we encourage the discussion part of it. And the next one, thank you. So this is a typical web page. You will see every single unit has a own website. All the materials are imported into the website. They can access the information 24 hours, 7 days a week, anywhere in the world, as well as they have access to it. Where we moved into quizzes, and we have to design the assessment task as to be customized, and also to ensure that authentication of the assessment of the online program, which is a significant issue in a post-COVID environment. But we have a system to monitor and operate and assign different tasks for students as well. Next one, thank you. So one of the challenges we had in engineering program is how do we provide hands-on laboratory-based learning experience to the student. Very often in the engineering or a science laboratory class, we have a small group of students working on labs. Probably 2 or 3 of them are actively participating, the rest of them are watching them. So we tried various solutions across a number of years. We had weekend lab classes. We bring them students on campus, not only to do the lab classes, but also they can physically meet the other students. We video recorded some experiments, particularly in the science area, when they're during the COVID situation, where we video recorded some experiment and provide some data for them to analyze and report. We create computer simulation. There are so many computer simulations available in the market at the moment. In the early stages, we used to send lab kits and take home experimental setup for the students to work on the experiment and come up with the testing in their home. We send some equipment facilities for students to do some projects as a design projects. And also they have to demonstrate that they have built those design projects and so forth as well. We have also done web broadcasting. And during the COVID situation or the current situation, the Zoom sessions we do is not for the lectures. It's more active learning environment, whether you run a tutorial, whether we organize a discussion forum, And that's where the Zoom session is used to, rather than people sitting in front of a screen watching somebody going through the lectures, which has all been pre-recorded in a very high quality recording studio, and it's available on the web for everybody as well. Next one, thank you. In the meantime, in 2015, we moved our engineering into what we call it as a problem-based, oriented, design-based learning, where how do we teach engineering much more hands-on in a team-based, project-based environment? So we change our curriculum in the undergraduate level, where the students work as teams on various projects, right from year 1 to year 4, because this is what the feedback we got from the industry, that the students, when they finish, they work as a project engineers and projects. So we give them the problem statement, they have to define the project, they have to work and come up with a solution, and we bring them groups together. So the challenge we had an opportunity to build our own building with partly funded by the government. In that 3-story building, we don't have a single classroom. What we call it as a learning space. We can, as a teaching facilitator, we can rearrange the classroom. All of them are designed to facilitate group discussion. And the problem, what we are trying to address here is, it doesn't have a single solution. So the different teams might come up with different solution, and every other team learn from the other teams why the different solutions there. So the learning experience is fantastic. And we managed to bring the online students into those type of groups as well. And they can actively participate in any virtual forum as well. The next step. Next one, thank you. So some of the challenges and opportunities, how do you introduce the project-based learning program? We have a new facility, and the lecture rooms tended to be a studio or a workshop environment. So we flipped the classroom to cloud-based teaching. So replace the lectures with videos, and then the class time is very much on application and problem solving and interaction between the students and the facilitator as well. So the cloud-based teaching in the future is going to blur the boundaries between on-campus students and a cloud student as well. And very often our students will study some subjects online, some subjects on campus, on campus. So that gives the flexibility for the students. But if you want to stretch the future direction, it's an ideal opportunity to develop a professional development program for people who are working in industry. They continue to work, they can continue to upgrade their qualification through the online program as well. Even though we started our online distance education program targeting rural and regional students, in the later years, nearly 40% of our online students are from the major metropolitan cities. Those who are working in the industry can't afford to give up their job, but they want to upgrade their qualification. That's where we find all of our postgraduate students are working in the industry. The other one is also it's flexible. If you design a system in an online environment, the different cohort students can start at different time. And so there's, in a normal on-campus environment, there's a fixed starting time, fixed finishing time. In the cloud environment, you have the flexibility to move that. And we may have 2 or 3 intakes in a year rather than having a single intake. It can also provide what we call it as a stackable qualification or micro-credential. The student or a potential student can take different modules and then keep on adding them and then eventually get the qualification as well. One of the advantages of COVID is everybody knows, or at least experience, online learning. Before COVID, there are certain countries and certain areas, the qualification of online is not widely accepted, or learning environment is online is not widely accepted. But in a post-COVID environment, everybody moved into an online environment. But Deakin University has a fortunate opportunity that we have the technology, we have the know-how, we have the experience of delivering program online over the last 40 years. For us, in a post-COVID environment or a pre-COVID environment, there is hardly any different. For us as a teacher, for our students, they had the same experience, same support system, same outcome as well. I think that's pretty much it. Next one. Yeah, thank you. This is our cadet facility, the Center for Engineering facility, where we develop that, and there is a lot of opportunity to participate in a global environment where the student has an opportunity to study from different university in different programs online as well. So thank you very much, and looking forward to the panel discussion.